Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of No Bullshit Self-Defense. My brother Guy will be with us. Guy, aka Cook Machine with Feet, will be with us starting November, so we'll be back together. For the moment, I'm by myself, and it's so nice to see everyone. I hope you're all doing well. Another thing, I have to thank a good friend of mine. She finally kicked my ass to get this freaking video done. Sorry for the language. It's all this shit's been marinating in my head, and I've been trying to find a way to kind of not bore you guys to fucking death, but to give you good information. So I saw this video on TikTok where basically somebody grabs a young lady by the throat and then pins her against the wall, right? And then he's showing, okay, well, you grab the thumb and then and I'm sitting there, I'm going, oh crap. I mean, it's fine if you call it sport, okay? I have nothing against that, but don't call it self-defense because, see, let me explain. Martial arts is a sport. Rules, regulations, there's a referee, if shit goes wrong, the fight's gonna stop. Combat is two or more people involved in a violent confrontation. Shit can go wrong. There's knives, baseball bats, you name it. And then there's self-defense, which is a legal term which says that you are allowed to defend yourself against an imminent attack after exhausting every means available to de-escalate said situation, right? So self-defense, whether you're 71, whether you're 14, whether you're me, it should apply to everyone. If you have to be in physical shape or whatever to do it, then it's not self-defense. So before I explain what to do, just long story short, there's three distances somebody can grab you by the throat, right? There's up close, there's like halfway, and then there's pinned against the wall. Now, before I tell you why I'm going to do what I'm going to show you, let me backtrack and you'll understand why I've been kind of marinating on this a while. In a situation of high stress, anything that you learn that basically you memorize will fly out the freaking window. I guarantee you. And I remember Rich when, way back when, wow, I feel, at Senshido, he used to always tell us a story about, two boxers pretty much in the changing room. Their jab, reverse, uppercut, their hooks were absolutely perfect. They get in the ring, long story short, one guy smacks the other by mistake after the bell rings. All of a sudden you got tables flying, chairs flying, you got two world champions rolling, and I'll never forget that expression, rolling on the floor like high school kids going, nee, nee, nee. Where's your technique? Where's your, It's not gonna happen because it's not that part of the brain. You go into something called fight or flight, or the adrenaline's pumping, there's emotions, you become sluggish, the blood is rushing to your, I get like blank spot, to your vitals for you to get ready to either fight or get the fuck out of there, right? So basically everything that's fine motor skills, forget about it. That's why the only thing that will work in this type of situation is what we call gross motor skills. Pretty much eye gouging, spitting, kicking, throwing a ball, shit that we'll do instinctively, right? Now, it gets deeper further, so bear with me. So, knowing that, what you want basically is your defense to be realistic, right? Like you want it to work every fucking time. You don't want it to work at 50% of the time, or 60%. You want it to work every fucking time. So the key of it is simplicity, which brings me to the 5 principles. If shit gets physical, right? And don't get me wrong, me 20 years ago, it would have been like, okay, motherfucker, let's rock and roll, right? I have a different view now at 45 years old. I ask myself, okay, are my actions making this freaking world that's already full of shit better? If not, don't even go there, right? It's not going to go anywhere. Plus, I will never forget this scenario. Imagine legally it's 100% the other person's fault. How do you know that they're not going to go home and their family's going to pay for all the bullshit, right? That could have been resolved by de-escalation, but that's for another episode. I'm not going to get into that. Where I was going with this is that there's 5 principles. If you've gone through the whole de-escalation, you've done your best, you're polite, you don't challenge, you don't threaten, you don't command, you don't imply the person's wrong, you actively listen to what they're telling you, and you show empathy, and I mean, at the end of the day, we're all human beings, right? Except for rapists and murderers, they shouldn't exist, like fuck them. But every other situation, well, it can be de-escalated in my humble opinion. And of course, I'm nothing is etched in stone. So, bref. The 5 principles are as follows. You have economy of motion. It's not rocket science, right? If I go grab a glass in the cupboard, do I go, yeah, yeah? No. I mean, with all due respect, if you're doing that for the actual, sport, for the it's all good. I have nothing against that. However, the way I see it is that self-defense or, any type of, when it gets physical, it has to be as close to kind of reality as we can, right? So, economy of motion. If I'm in this position, I'm about to strike you, I'm not going to do this before. Hey, some might argue I might have more power, cool, but I'm not going to land my shot because the other person is alive, right? There's not a tree. Sorry, I'm being cut. So, economy of motion. Then you have non-telegraphic movement, which goes kind of hand in hand, right? You don't want to go, hey, the punch is coming or I'm going to defend myself. The element of surprise plays a huge role in this situation. So, economy of motion, non-telegraphic movement. You also want to strike with your closest weapon to your opponent's closest target, whatever that may be. So, if, let's say, example, we're in close, at what point would I have to push you back and throw a punch or a kick? Well, you're right here, right? I can throw a palm strike under the jaw going up. I can go for the eyes. I can rake the eyes. I can grab the ear, pull. I go home with a soothing ear. Get it? I can go for the throat. I can throw a knee, an upwards elbow, whatever. You name it, right? The whole point is always locate what's my closest weapon to my opponent's closest target. Whether it's your head, it's your thumb, it's your fingers, whatever. Like, I'm babbling. Sorry. So then, after striking with your closest weapon to your opponent's closest target, see, at close range, the hand is quicker than the eye. I remember back in the day, we used to do this drill where, you have to put your hand like so, and I go, okay, I'm going to tap you. As slowly as possible. Try to stop me. It ain't happening, right? Because by the time my hand goes like this, like fires, your eyes see that, send the message to the hand to do this, it's too late. So that's where tactile sensitivity comes in, which is the ability to interpret your opponent's energy through the sense of touch. So, again, we're in close, I go to pull out a blade, or your eyes are not going to see that shit. It's happening way too fast. Your body will feel, the movement, so you'll be able to jam it and then act accordingly, right? So, that's the thing, tactile sensitivity. Okay, so far we have economy of motion, non-telegraphic movement, closest weapon to closest target, tactile sensitivity, and the last one is, can anyone say? Okay, I'm going to tell you. It's basically primary and secondary targets. Primary targets on the human body, eyes, throat. Everything else, just pain. And God, I've eaten so many shots to the nuts back in the day. We'd be like, oh, you don't have your cup. Oh, excellent. Right? That was the other's attitude because we were a bunch of pricks back then, but they're all my family, these people. So, yeah, right? So if you base yourself on these 5 principles, what you're doing is going to work, right? It's very simple, it's direct, it's effective, and your goal, it's not about ego at all, right? Don't get ego in the way. It's not, oh, I'm tougher than you. It has nothing to do with that. This is about surviving a potentially violent confrontation. Or basically in this case, and the beauty of what these 5 principles is you can practice with pretty much anyone. Tell them, okay, grab me in this position, and then you can stop there, go, okay, what's my closest weapon to your closest target? How would you react from there? And then basically do drills like that, which kind of, they bring you as close to reality as possible without anyone getting injured, of course. That's not the point. So going back, see how my mind works? Going back to somebody grabbing you at close range, what is my closest weapon to the person's closest target? Ooh, look at the thumbs. Right in the eyes, right? Primary targets, right away. Because, see, somebody grabs you by the throat, to me, and as much, everybody knows me, right? I'm Blade, I'm a bit missing a few brain cells, but it's all about love. It comes from a good place, and I don't believe in gratuitous violence. It's unnecessary, and it doesn't make our world a better place. It makes the shit worse. So, like I said, there's 3 distances. Either close, middle, or they can have you pinned against the wall. So, let's say you're not able to reach the primary targets, eyes, throat, right? At that point, let's say you're, no, not this wall, not a good idea. Imagine there's a wall behind me. I'm pinned against the wall. everybody's normal reaction when you get grabbed to the throat is, oh, fuck, right? Well, sorry for language. Oh, flute. Now, from here, I played this in my mind like 1,000 times. From here, if I'm not able to reach the person's eyes, wait, let me back up. Let's say that their shin is there. I'm going to kick their shin as much as I can. And it's not going to knock them out, obviously, you know, but what it will do is it will instigate a reaction. So they're going to flinch. And one time, twice, I don't give a fuck. I'm going ape shit on their fucking shin until they react. Once they react, their eyes and their face becomes in range, my thumbs are going like breath. By the way, pause. Let me put it this way. Again, it depends on the level of violence, right? If you've exhausted every means at your disposal and you've done your best and your life is in danger, I believe it's better to be tried by 12 than carried by 6, right? I don't encourage violence. I'm totally against it. But when it comes to life and death, it's about survival, going back home to your family, going back home in one piece, breathing. So, going back to that position, you get the guy you pinned against the wall, my initial reaction is to go, oh fuck. But then I'm going to kick their shin. As soon as they react, my thumbs are going right in their face. And at that point, I'm starting to freaking tear, right? Basically, eyes, throat. And from there, I'm going like, okay, I can knee, for example, I can throw an elbow, create some distance, and then get the fuck out of there, right? Obviously, call 911, explain the situation, tell them I got attacked, explain what happened. Because if the person is injured, you still have to like call for help, and you still have to, you know, call an ambulance, make sure that they don't die, because then you could be liable, right? Be careful about that. Again, don't be an ass. But when it comes to stuff like that, especially, and me, somebody grabs me by the throat, hey, fuck it, I'm not going to negotiate with them, I'm not going to reason with them. At that point, you have 7 seconds before you pass out like a light. And yeah, once you pass out like a light, who knows, right? I remember when we were kids, we were stupid, we would try this and go like this until, right, we fell asleep. So imagine the panic, the stress, we're like, right? But it's not the time that they start doing locks and shit. You want to get the fuck out of there as quickly as possible. Hence the kicking to the shin and then going ape shit on the face and then, you know, getting the fuck away and you know, seeking help or going to a public place or, you know, getting the fuck out of there. Period. I'm babbling again. Bref, it was great to see you all. That's basically what you do when somebody grabs you by the throat. Remember, 3 distances. The whole point is, again, it's not about ego. It's about ending the altercation as quickly as possible and staying in one piece, right? So, right away, right? The fingers, eyes. And if you can't reach the eyes, fucking kick something else, right? A knee when you're pinned against the wall it's not likely to happen. You can try it. But a kick to the shin, you don't need much force for that. And ladies, if you're wearing these pointy heels on the shin, you know, maybe once it won't land, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, one of them is going to land, and the person's going to react. And then your thumbs should be like des aimants, like freaking magnets, and their eyeballs should be pretty much, you know, like a piece of metal. So, and then from there, you rake, you grab, poke, spit. Again, once the person is no longer a threat, and you know, you take a safe distance, and then you get out of there, right? It's not like, okay, let's spar. It's not about that. It's about surviving. So, much love. If you have any good comments, beautiful. Bad comments, look, I'll learn from them. And this is my you know, video anyway. So if you don't like it, you know, you can always quit this yourself, you know, without a partner. But I'm kidding. Love you all. Have a good night and be safe. Mark out.